So Bhakti Swami is the main person like working on establishing these self-sufficient communities. And that's very important because Srila Prabhupada said main sources of wealth are land and cows. So if we can have nice land, if we can have like a lot of big pieces of land around the world where devotees can like live together and work together, you know, they can have, you know, their own businesses and so forth. But people who are his mood is into that, you know, that's their dharma. But others whose dharma is like, you know, taking care of cows or doing some agriculture, they can do that. Those who are actually more Brahminically inclined, they can take care of the temples and also like run the schools. We need to have like Krishna conscious schools all over the world. There's not that many anymore. I remember like in the 80s when I first joined, there was quite a few schools. I remember they had one even here in California. It's called Bhakti Vedanta Village. They had like a big Gurukula there, and around that Gurukula they had, you know, many families living, and you know, because they wanted their kids to go to the Gurukula. And also they had like cow protection and farming. So that was a nice community, but somehow I guess they couldn't make it financially, unfortunately. But it was in a nice area, a very good agricultural area in Central California, Visalia area. So hopefully we can start up something like that again, maybe even closer to LA. Because, you know, there's a lot of devotees in Southern California, thousands of devotees in Southern California. So we can have a really, if everybody like pools their resources together, we can buy a huge piece of land, and then people can just live on the land, you know, not have to worry about it, you know, not have to worry about paying rent or paying mortgage. No, you live on the land, you know, because the devotees would all own it together. Everybody pitches in, you know, the part owner, and we can, you know, establish these self-sufficient communities all over the world like that. It's just a matter of someone like organizing the cooperation of the devotees to actually establish something working together. Because if everybody pools their resources and work together for the same goal, then we can do it. But this separate mentality, oh, you know, I have my guru, I'm doing this project, or I'm doing this, but even though we have different projects we're working on, we should at least have places all over the world, you know, where we can actually live together and grow together in Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada states, I believe it's a purport to this, it's either the second or third verse to the Upadeshamrita, Nectar of Instruction. He states very clearly, and this is huge, I founded this ISKCON society to facilitate the 6 loving exchanges between devotees. Yeah. He didn't say, oh, I established this to, you know, to establish Krishna as the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or, you know, to establish the Maha Mantra as the chanting of the Maha Mantra as the process for this age, and to give everyone the chanting of the Hare Krishna mantra so that they can go back to Godhead at the end of this life. No, he said the loving exchanges. And what is the purpose of chanting anyway? Jesus Christ, he said the 2 most important things are to love God with all your heart and soul, and to love everyone as equally as your own self. Love your neighbor as equally as your own self. That's the whole process of Krishna consciousness. That's the goal of Krishna consciousness. You know, and how do we develop that? We develop it through loving relationships. You know, we can chant the Maha Mantra all day and all night, but if we don't establish loving relationships with one another, then what's going to be the benefit? And what is the most important things in our lives? It's not like, our austerities or our level of consciousness or the amount of wealth that we have and things that we have, but the prime thing that gives us happiness is our relationships, our loving relationships, not our, conflicting relationships. No, they don't give us happiness. But our loving relationships, that's what brings happiness. And that's what everyone's looking for. George Harrison states writes in the, preface to the Kṛṣṇa book. He funded that, the original printing of the Kṛṣṇa book. That everyone is looking for love. Everyone's looking for Kṛṣṇa. Because Kṛṣṇa is 100% love. It's total love, complete love. People may ask, well, why is there suffering in the world? Because Kṛṣṇa loves us. He wants us to wake up. The suffering that we have to go through is to wake us up to who we really are. It's said that when Kṛṣṇa really loves us, he takes everything away, so that we have no other resource but to surrender to him. I remember one time, this was shortly before I learned the Transcendental Meditation program, I was really just completely stressed out and anxiety. I was like, just probably at what I would say is probably at rock bottom that I experienced in my life, like at rock bottom, psychologically. And I just called out to Jesus Christ. I didn't know anything about Kṛṣṇa. I was a Christian. So I just called out to Jesus. I said, Jesus, please help me. Just in my anguish. And immediately, as soon as I did that, I felt like calm and peaceful. It was a really amazing experience. And so, that lasted for a while. And, I've always been like a strong prayer, and now I never really understood Jesus' teachings until I came to Kṛṣṇa consciousness. Because when we practice Kṛṣṇa consciousness, then you know what Christ was teaching. He was teaching Kṛṣṇa consciousness without a doubt. Because everything that he says in the Bible, not what's said in the Bible by other people that are saying, this and that and the other thing, that the only way is through Jesus. No, but what Jesus himself said, everything that he taught is contained in the Kṛṣṇa conscious philosophy, plus a lot more. And Jesus himself, he said, there are many things. He didn't say there are one or two things I want to tell you. He said, there are many things I want to tell you, but your ears aren't ready to hear. So how can anyone say that everything's in the Bible? Christ himself said he didn't give everything. He just gave a small amount. And even what he did give in 3 years, probably not even 1% of that is in the Bible. So, but Srila Prabhupada, he gave us so much knowledge, unlimited knowledge. The Vedic scriptures contain so much knowledge, you couldn't take it all in one lifetime. Just amazing knowledge. But he's condensed it in such a way that we can actually grasp the essence of this supreme knowledge and go back to Godhead in this very life. We can perfect ourselves now, in this life. Someone asked that to Srila Prabhupada, said, can we go to develop perfect Kṛṣṇa consciousness in this life? Can we be Kṛṣṇa conscious in this one life? He said, one moment. He said, one moment. All we have to do is surrender to Kṛṣṇa. Completely surrender to Kṛṣṇa. In that one moment. Just like that, I completely surrender to Jesus. Please, I'm yours. So if we can do that at every moment, it's an every moment thing. We have to be completely surrendered to Kṛṣṇa. It's like we can't just surrender to Kṛṣṇa for a moment and then, the next moment go out and do some nonsense. No, we have to be vigilant every second. Because Maya's attacking us all the time. She never gives up. She never takes a vacation. Maya never takes a vacation. Always there to allure us into this thing or that thing or the other thing. So we have to always be on guard. And just always maintain our Kṛṣṇa consciousness. And the best way to do that is to be humble and tolerant. And to try to be loving and kind to everyone. If we can do those three things, be humble and tolerant and express love and respect towards everyone, we'll become Kṛṣṇa conscious immediately. That is Kṛṣṇa conscious, those three things. Srila Prabhupada was totally humble and tolerant. He would chastise his disciples because that's his job. That's the job of the disciple. Yeah, but he'd chastise them, and the next moment he'd apologize to them. I'm sorry I was so rough with you, but you need to know this. Sometimes we have to be treated roughly in order to wake up, because we've been in a dream for so many lifetimes. Who knows how many millions of lifetimes we've had in this material world, and just been polluted by all this nonsense. Just look at it. In this day and age, there's so much bombardment of insanity. It's complete insanity. It's unbelievable. When I was a kid, things were so much more simple, and it was much easier to remain focused. But now it's just you're bombarded every second with this insanity, that insanity, and it's becoming more and more insane. The only thing that's going to save this insanity from engulfing everyone and bringing the earth down is this Kṛṣṇa consciousness. And it's so amazing. I'm so enlivened when I hear the reports of all these kirtans going on around the world, all these Harinams, Harinam Ruchi, going this place, that place, doing a big Harinam with 150, 200 people with Mahavishnu Swami. That's so inspiring. Then we have all these kirtan melas going on. Before it was just the Mayapur Kirtan Mela, which started out with just Lokanath Swami and Iyengar. They do 3 hours each, or 6 hours, or whatever it was. I can't remember. But anyway, that was the Kirtan. It was just those two. But now there's so many Kirtan leaders around the world, come for the Kirtan Mela. And now, they have these Kirtan Melas all over the world. They just had one recently in Dubai, Muslim country. So yeah, good things are happening. Bad things are going on, but it seems to me that the good is the Kṛṣṇa consciousness is so powerful, it's overshadowing all this negativity that's going on. And soon it will become prominent enough, the Kṛṣṇa consciousness will become prominent enough in the world that we will actually see a huge difference in the way that people behave. So you have a lot to look forward to. And a very big part of that is going to be getting devotees to live together on big pieces of land and do their sadhana together. Because we're the Sankirtan movement. What does that mean? That means we glorify Kṛṣṇa, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, together, harmoniously. We collectively glorify Kṛṣṇa in different ways. It could be the Maha Mantra, it could be like singing other prayers, it could be like glorifying the Supreme Lord through the recitation of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But all that goes on every day in all of our temples. So if we can do it in big groups together, it will produce a much more powerful effect. And if we can have devotees get together and organize huge kirtans in these baseball and football stadiums that hold like 50 or 60,000 people, sometimes 100,000 people, then we can create a just mega influence on the whole planet. And that would include, bring the karmis in, bring be open to everyone. Just, rent like a big stadium, the baseball stadiums, they don't have much going on during the off season. And the football stadiums, they have less going on. The football stadiums hardly a few months, Baseball season longer. So we could take over these stadiums, and invite people, very inexpensive ticket, come and enjoy, a very, ecstatic festival of singing and dancing and love and harmony. Everybody wants love and harmony. So we just advertise, a festival of love and harmony, $5. If 50,000 people donate $5, it was at 20. It was 50,000. God, it was what, 2.5 million or something. I don't know. I think that's what it is. Anyway, it's a big amount. At least a few 100,000. If we have 50,000 people donating $5, 50,000 times 5, 20, maybe it's 25, 200, at least 250,000. It's either 250,000 or 2.5 million. Either way, it's a lot of Lakshmi to use in Krishna service. And to rent other baseball stadiums and have big programs like that. So that's something we can do to get people together and to introduce them to the Maha Mantra. And what could be more, could you imagine chanting and dancing with 50,000 people? You imagine you're just a person off the street and you come into this baseball stadium and people are singing and dancing, and and on the scoreboard, instead of having all this nonsense which they have during the baseball and football game, you have the Maha Mantra, and people are just singing the Maha Mantra. All together, 50,000 people. What an effect that would create on the whole world. So I'm talking about, so I guess I have to do it. or at least organize some people together to make it happen. Because once we do it the first time, then we can keep doing it. Because it'll pay for itself. Everybody gives $5, $10. Who wouldn't want to give $5 for an ecstatic festival of singing and dancing and love and harmony? Yeah. And then it's just you have a very cheap price to bring them in. Then you can raise it to $10. When everyone's hooked, you raise it to $10. It's twice as much. Then we can do twice as many baseball stations. So, yeah, it'll pay for itself. And then with whatever Lakshmi we have left over, we buy land and establish these self-sufficient farm communities. Just bring devotees together. Because that's what's going to produce the powerful effect, is all of us doing this service, this Kṛṣṇa service together. And it's enjoyable for everyone. And we've seen, like you saw at the festival, so many people were attracted to the holy name and coming and taking books. I distributed a lot of those pamphlets. So many people did. Practically everybody was taking them. Everybody just was appreciating the festival. We have festivals like this every month, or they should be going on constantly. At least somewhere in the world there should be a festival going on all the time. 365 days, and we're somewhere in the world there's got to be a festival going. And we have many festivals